KXLY4 Make It Count election coverage tonight. There's going to be a rematch for the governor's mansion here in Washington.
At news conferences in Issaquah and Spokane today, Republican Dino Rossi announced today he is going to challenge incumbent Governor Christine Gregoire next year. Rossi lost the governor's election in 2004, but only after a third hand recount reversed two counts that showed him ahead. Rossi is a former state senator. He says it's time for fresh air in Olympia.
And we are pleased to have Mr. Rossi joining us live from the DoubleTree Hotel in downtown Spokane. Thank you for taking the time with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
When did you know that you were going to run again?
Actually, my wife and I made the decision on, I guess it was October 11th. And we just decided that with our four children between 7 and 17, what kind of state do we want our children growing up in? I'm actually in a position to do something about it. And we know it's going to be a difficult year, but the benefits for the entire state and for our family and others will be tremendous once we're done.
And also, we talked about the election of 2004 and how close that was. Looking back on the race, what do you think?
We are not dwelling on what happened in the past. We realize that right now we're sitting in a very good position. I mean, the polling number shows that the incumbent is at 47%, which is 1 point less than she was on election day. I'm at 45%. We're right where we were in October of 2004. And I think the people of the state really do believe there should be some change in Olympia. Christine Gregoire has been in state government for 38 years. And I really believe it is time for a change.
All right, so you are already looking ahead to 2008 and your rematch with Governor Gregoire. Tell us your opinions. Has she been a good governor?
Well, I think part of the problem is that she's blown through the biggest surplus the state has ever known, $2.1 billion surplus, and turned it into a sizable deficit by 2009. That can only be deemed as fiscally responsible at best. I think the failure of leadership throughout has been a problem. So through this campaign, it's going to be a long 13 months. What I'm going to do is compare and contrast what the incumbent has done with what I want to do. And bringing fiscal sanity back to Olympia, which is what I did when I was a state senator, and I balanced the biggest deficit in state history without raising taxes. Looks like I'm going to have to do that again.
And we saw such a close race in 2004. Is it going to be anywhere close to that this year, or is it going to be a bigger gap, you think?
I think it'll be a bigger gap, and I really think that Eastern Washington understands they can control every election. The city of Seattle is 9% of the state's population, Eastern Washington is 22%, but 84% of the people registered to vote in the city of Seattle showed up and voted in 2004, and about 80% in Eastern Washington. So there's a potential 23,000 more votes that could come from Eastern Washington if everybody voted, and that means Eastern Washington could control every single election.
Well, we are so glad that you chose Eastern Washington to make your announcement for candidacy. We wish you the best, and I'm sure we'll be keeping up with you as you travel.
We will. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rossi.